What can I say? I like biopics, especially biopics about any kind of artist. Even if they're formulaic, even if they're by the numbers, even if I know how they're going to turn out, they always pull me in and I usually enjoy them. This is a Drafthouse Diary for Tuesday, January 10th, 2023, when I went to the Alamo Drafthouse at Westminster to see I Want to Dance with Somebody, the Whitney Houston biopic. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Whitney Houston. She was part of pop culture when I was a kid, and I like some of her songs. I didn't know a whole lot about her story. I am not assuming that I know a whole lot about her story now because, as I've mentioned before, biopics, in order to be good movies, are often fast and loose with the truth. I can accept that. But I enjoyed this movie because it gave me everything I wanted in a biopic. If you've watched any kind of performer bio or band bio or watched behind the music, you already know roughly what kind of story arc you're going to get here. There's the early innocence and ambition, there's the discovery, there's the quick path to stardom. There are the pressures and temptations that come along with stardom that lead to various poor decisions, in this case, lots of drug use. And eventually they lead to a downfall. And if you're lucky, the story will have some kind of a redemption moment at the end. Now, I knew enough about Whitney Houston's story to know we weren't going to get very much of a redemption moment at the end. Unfortunately, her life ended very tragically. But the movie works to at least manufacture one. And then at the very end, after the little redemption moment they give us, and by the way, she died in a drug-related swimming pool accident sometime later. Kind of a downer. But the movie itself, 99% of it, was engaging, was gripping. Part of that was due to very good direction and extremely good performances. This was directed by Casey Lemons, and it starred Naomi Ackie as Whitney Houston, an amazing performance. It also starred Stanley Tucci as the record company executive who discovered Whitney Houston, gave her her first big break, gave her her first record contract, and tried to guide her through the problems and pitfalls of the kind of life that she had entered into. And Stanley Tucci is great in everything, but he was particularly good as this businessman who's in this for business, but who really cared about music and really cared about musicians and artists and singers. Again, no idea if this was anything like what this character was like in real life, but Tucci made him a great character. But Naomi Ackie as Whitney Houston, a terrific performance, a performance that required a great deal of range because we see her from when she's a kid and just singing because she loves it, putting up with her mom's strict instruction in music, and her mom was a singer, and many members of her family were also. And then we see her play Whitney Houston through this rise to stardom, through all of this temptation, through these bad decisions and problematic marriage, and eventual dive into self-destructive behavior, all the while trying to maintain her position, trying to continue pursuing her art, trying to perform, give the fans what they wanted, give the business people what they wanted. One of the business people being her father, who is another antagonist character by the time the movie is well underway. The performance that Naomi Ackie provides across this range and across this time period, I was very impressed, and that's part of what drew me into this movie. So, if you like biopics, if you like Whitney Houston and don't mind a movie that's really going to portray some of the really difficult parts of her life, it's worth watching. And also, I have to mention the fact that the staging of the musical performances was very good. We have Naomi Ackie playing Whitney Houston, lip syncing to Whitney Houston recordings, and they are really energizing, really well done from her earliest appearances through her Super Bowl appearance and others. Very, very inspiring and just very thrilling to see these performances recreated in this way. And in addition, given the age that I was in the early 80s, it was fun to see them recreate some things like music video shoots and some things that were just part of music and pop culture at the time. That was kind of fun to see, and I think they did a very good job of capturing the feel of the different time periods through which Whitney Houston's career took her. Other aspects of the trip to the Alamo. The pre-show was what you might probably expect. A lot of Whitney Houston videos or performance clips, interviews, and a lot of Whitney Houston commercials. When she was at the height of her superstardom, she was making commercials for phone companies and soda pop and all kinds of things, and in America and elsewhere. And it was fun to see those. Again, it was kind of nostalgic. And for somebody who remembers that time, seeing these commercials and videos and such kind of put me back into the mindset of that time frame, which was a great way to start the movie that takes place during that time so much. So good job on the pre-show. The food at the Alamo. I tried the Philly cheesesteak this time around. I had never tried that before, and I have mixed feelings about it. On the one hand, it was very good. The hoagie roll that it was on, it was good. The cheesesteak itself, the meat was good. The seasoning was a little uneven. Going through the sandwich, you'd get some places where there was a lot of seasoning, a lot of salt, a lot of spicing. Not that it was very spicy. And then there are other parts of the same sandwich that were a little bit plain. So the seasoning was not really mixed very well. But the other thing that surprised me even more was that this is the first time I'd ever had something like a sandwich at the Alamo and thought, gee, this is kind of small. Maybe I'm used to Philly cheesesteaks being a substantial dinner in their own right. But this was a relatively small sandwich and relatively thin. It was not really packed with a whole lot of steak. So a little disappointing in terms of the size and the portion that you get for that steak. The seasoning was all very good, but it wasn't really mixed through as much as it should have been. So I will probably try the cheesesteak again sometime to see if this was a fluke or if this is just something about the way the Alamo makes cheesesteaks. And if I do try it again, of course, I'll let you know. Well, thanks for letting me share this visit to the Alamo with you. If you enjoyed this, found it useful, please consider clicking like down below. And if you want to see more Drafthouse Diaries, click subscribe. But most important, I'm glad you are here. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you again soon. And in the meantime, enjoy your movies. And when you do, stay till the end of the credits.